What's up, folks? I'm just trying to get myself situated. For some reason, before I had my music playing fine, and now it is not. Um, I'm bad at OBS. Yeah, I know what happened. I walked away for a second and came back, and all of a sudden, the source isn't working properly. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there we go. We are live. Well, I guess we've been live, but yeah, folks. Um, Sorry, what is there a delay? What's happening? Oh, I see. There was like a. Give me 1 second. Yeah, okay. I didn't know there was a. And I bet now you guys can hear the music. Yeah, I guess one of my screens went silent for a second and therefore wasn't showing anything. Turn that down just a little bit and hoping that it's not literally obnoxious. But yeah, as you can see, this is the general agenda for today. We're gonna test some. Well, actually, that probably come last, but still didn't fix the pop up. Show a little bit of beginner mode, encounters, and probably work on some new achievements. Probably stream for about hour and a half. And yeah, that's today's game plan. Just work on this COLORNOVA update. I'm kind of hoping to have it out by like Friday, but not sure how realistic that is. Ooh, okay. Just making sure that my window is actually doing what it's supposed to. Oh, I see what's happening. If I don't literally have Spotify clicked in, you can't hear the music anymore. Okay, that's no issue. We can make that happen. We're perfectly over here. Yeah. Okay. So I guess first things first. Let's show off a little bit of let's show off beginner mode. Ooh. Hold on. Move the whole window. There we go. Sorry, I'm just telling people that I'm streaming. All right, so let's check it. So Beginner mode actually isn't even like drastically that different than the other modes. It's just that I realized after talking to folks that casual's apparently a little bit too hard. So if we take a look at the leaderboards here, we can kind of see the casual leaderboard, how most folks don't even really make it past like 10K, which is unfortunate because to unlock a bunch of stuff, you need to at least make it a 10K. And like, even if we like change difficulties, you see there's not a lot of folks here. So yeah, we're working on this beginner mode, which is actually available in a beta branch if anyone wants to check it out. The password is Malachite Studios if you go to your properties and settings in Steam. But the difference between beginner and casual is basically that I removed a bunch of the meteors. The spawn rates are way slower, that kind of thing. But yeah, we can kind of check out what that looks like. You see how much slower things spawn as compared to like casual. Like there's several times when you're probably not even going to be worrying about things. So in regular game mode, you'd probably think that I'm upping the rates of spawns as the game progresses, and that's not actually what happens. Basically what happens is that it becomes harder to kill things, and that's why things last on the screen a little bit more. So I never even had to adjust the rate. But yeah, so casual mode has this different, or rather beginner has this different planet, and the rates are way slower, and basically the progression is just not as high. The idea being that hopefully people end up figuring out how to play the game a little better. Definitely more people to test it out because, you know, I already can get really high scores. So, like, to me, there's not much of a difference, you know? But I bet to a lot of folks there is. But yeah, you can tell what mode you're in mostly from what's in this bottom corner here. Like that's just on the screen. Like it doesn't actually do anything. And it's just so you can, like, a cool, fast visual indicator of like what is going on. I kept all the power ups and power downs in this mode. It's literally just, I think that, you know, the hardest thing you probably encounter is probably like a changeling. Because like electros are in your favor. You do get parasites still, but the thing about parasites is that when they're not spawning as fast, the odds of a parasite actually, you know, like doing its thing and absorbing meteors and getting bigger, it's very low. But yeah, more or less it's still, you know, the same game. I've thought about maybe making something slightly visually more interesting, like, I don't know, just giving a bigger differentiator. I feel like the big orange planet is such a stark difference in placement. So like between Nightmare and Casual is kind of obvious. But I don't know, something between beginner and casual feels like it needs to change a little bit. So if anyone has any ideas, I am happy to hear them. It's like, I don't know. Maybe even introduce, I don't know, maybe I can introduce some like different color novas or something. Not novas, but nebulas rather. But yeah, like just generally speaking, things should be easier in this mode. The difference between casual and nightmare is actually not super significant as far as like spawn rates. Things can obviously spawn faster in nightmare, but They basically have the same. So casual. So they have the same shortness of spawnness because it's a random, but casual has a longer delay, if that makes sense. Like chance for delay. But yeah, that's enough of that. Just wanted to show y'all a little bit of what beginner mode actually looks like. So as you can see here, we have the beginner, and it has a different animation than casual. That looks like that. And then nightmare, that has that animation. These two are obviously the same, and that one's new. Encounters is new. Basically, this is going to be like a Pokédex of sorts. It's still not even kind of done. But it'll have all of the meteors. It's currently set that you unlock them after you've destroyed one, which I do think I have to change that logic a little bit since it's pretty impossible to destroy a laser proof. You have to, it's a very particular set of circumstances is the only way to destroy them. But yeah. And the reason that it looks like this now still, despite me, I've already destroyed them, is basically just, like I said, I haven't finished. And as the preview or whatever, and basically what it'll be is it'll show you the meteor. It'll probably show you whatever its animation is. Maybe even its death sequence. I'm not sure. Just because, like things like splitters, like it's kind of cool to see them split, or black holes. You obviously want to see like the actual black hole. For pickups, right now it is showing the icon for the pickup, but I'm gonna have descriptions here as well. I think some of them might already at least have some placeholder. Let's see. No, none of them. Oh well. I guess I haven't done any descriptions yet. But yeah, that is also on the list to do descriptions. Basically just a way for people to get a little bit of understanding about what's happening in the game. Getting a little bit of, I wouldn't say complaints, but some feedback on that people don't really understand. Like, to me, I think when you play a game, it's one of those things where, yeah, you're kind of you're gonna figure it out as it goes. But I guess in today's game world, it's a little strange. Most people aren't used to that, I guess. So, and then of course we added those two power-ups last time. The one makes you small, one makes you big. So we find that. So I got one makes you big. I haven't got one makes you small since I updated this. And we're gonna add some achievements regarding that. Well, rather, I've already had the achievements, but we're gonna design the icons that go for it to like put into Steam. So yeah, let's start with that minimally, I guess. Let me shoot out for one more message, and then, we'll get this going. by the way, folks, if you have any questions about the process or what I'm doing, just let me know. Yeah, let's talk about it. Sorry, one more post. I should cue these up so I don't have to do this stream, but it is what it is. All right. Yeah, so I use Affinity Designer for most things just because, like, it's a one-time payment. It's easy. It basically is Illustrator without, being under the cold, dead hands of Adobe. All right, so those are the last few that I made. So basically how all my achievement works is that it's under one of these 3 colors, or 6 colors rather. And honestly, I've been pretty bad about figuring out the distribution of them. I just kind of pick one. And let's see, what are the power-ups that we are, not power-ups, but the achievements we are trying to make. So, okay, so the 3 achievements we were trying to make have to do with, one has to do with beginner mode, one has to do with the new one makes you small, one makes you big. So we're gonna do one called bobblehead, and the idea of that is that it's a big body, small, like you get big bodied, and then you have small bullets, and then microscopic, which is small bullets, small body. I'm not sure what I want to do for that one visually yet. And then to play beginner mode at least once, we're gonna call it Weenie Hut Junior. Just because, if you're not making fun of your players, what are you doing? So typically how I do this is like I'll hit to the Noun project, which is this really cool service where you can basically get free icons and stuff. Well, they are free in that I do pay a subscription, but it's like $40 a year, so that's not bad. So normally I'd probably do something for Weenie Hut, like look up like baby or something like that. I think I already do have an icon with a baby involved though. I'm pretty positive one of these are like that. Maybe it's You Tried. Yeah, You Tried is already a baby. Well, it's a different baby. So maybe I can look up like a crying baby. Oh yeah. Maybe like a crying baby. Do I want to white? No, we'll do probably like black. Then we can copy it onto here. Unless I didn't copy it right. Did I not copy it right? I don't think I did. Let's try this again. All right, nice and copy. Boom, boom. I have no clue why I can't copy. Oh, am I not? What's happening? Am I not signed in? No, I'm signed in. I don't know, maybe I need to start with a different layer first. let's just do that. Let's go with the gold. We're gonna dupe the gold. We'll push it all the way to the top. Well, actually, we're not even gonna rename that yet. We'll grab this if it ever lets me. Oh, well, okay, cool. No, it's not. That is not. I don't know what's happening with Nav Project. I might have to download it. There we go. I don't know what that was about. We're gonna shrink it all the way down. Probably like that size. I feel like it needs something though. Maybe like a baby's toy of some kind. Yeah, we're gonna give him this rattle here. Literally what is happening with the Noun project? Every time I click copy, nothing is copying. Like, brother, are you okay? Like, what's going on? There we go. And maybe we'll do another one on the opposite side and flip it over. And we'll just align them like that. Each corner. Make sure this guy's aligned to the center. And the center of that too. Yeah, that'll do. I'm like, do I want to maybe flip this guy over? That is true. I haven't used a microscope or magnifying glass. No, that's too close to the edge now. Yeah, this is fine. This is fine. All right, so let's combine all of this into one group. I'm gonna call it Weenie Hut Jr. And then typically for the lock, I just kind of, filter over. So now I can export this. And then I'm gonna upload it to Steam, and then we're gonna test to see if it works. Because it's technically already in the game. I just need to test to see if it works. Sorry, I would show you all the Steam console, but I think that's a big no-no for Steam typically. So we'll avoid that one. Junior, save that. Yep. Export this. We got junior. Underscore locked. Okay, pulling up the Steam console now. Then honestly, as soon as it is live, the game should just like allow it, I think. Though I'm a little curious, I have other ones that I haven't, like, I guess written down properly. And it's like when I press publish on this, will it just publish them all? Will allow me? Let's see the pending changes, blah, blah, blah. All right, it might just publish all of the achievements before they're ready for prime time, but it is what it is. Okay, now I'm curious if I go on Steam, if I'm just gonna see these achievements that aren't properly existing yet. Oh yeah, it just published all of them. Which is funny. I'm surprised you can publish them without, like, without the mob images. Okay, whatever. Let's just see if it's working correctly. Theoretically, this should, after playing one game of beginner mode, it should theoretically give me my achievement. For the record, pretty much all achievements are blocked if you have a score of 0. Just because, like, I didn't want to get into the habit of people killing themselves really early in the game for the sake of making some achievement or something. That'd be no fun. Well, that should be plenty. All right, that unlocked literally nothing. But I'm not entirely sure why. Maybe because it thinks I'm on the beta branch? Or I don't know. Let me take a look at the achievement thing and make sure that I put it in there correctly. Yeah, I seemingly put it in there correctly. Oh, no, I didn't. I lied. All right, let's try this one more time. I had it set to do that for casual, not beginner. Although it's still definitely... Oh, I guess the mode wasn't at the time. Okay, one more time. Oh, actually, you know what I should show off is that last time I showed off the game and I was doing, and the tutorial went off, discovered that the physics bodies were staying behind if you skip the tutorial. As you can see, you skip the tutorial and there are no more phantom physics bodies. I actually destroy them properly. It's kind of funny that they even existed because it's almost like I must have declared them in the tutorial as some weird type that doesn't interact properly because it's not like they were pushing on the planets or on the ships or meteors or anything like that. Okay. Now when I die, I should get. Okay. Or not. What is happening? I don't know why that is not unlocking. Maybe it's Steam. Maybe I need to restart Steam. Oh, no. Jeez. All right. This is crazy. So I literally just wrote the code wrong again. Like, it's not begin, it's beginner. First it said casual, then it said begin, then it said maybe I'm tired today. Because that is crazy. I'm probably extra tired because I thought I showed you guys the code on that one, and I did not. And I started this wrong. Here's what I was saying. I was saying that I spelled this, so, as you can see, it was begin, and then before that it was casual, and it needs to be beginner, and I don't know why I couldn't fathom writing my own game modes the correct way. All right, so now, this time, with passion, and if we cross our fingers, maybe, just maybe, I'll do it correctly. Yes, thank you. And then you guys can't see it, but you might have heard the little noise that went off. That is basically just so I will show you guys. See, Weenie Hut Jr. unlocked. Cool. All right. Felt like I was going crazy. All right, so that was an easy one. And then we can go back to Affinity and knock out those other two really quick. So that was Weenie Hut Jr. Let's go turquoise on this next one. All right. Yeah. Glad we heard the Steam achievement sound. Oh, maybe like a petri dish even. Might be cool. If the noun project will cooperate. Or not? All right. Come on. You got it. It's just a noun project, or is it my... No, it's not my internet. I'm so glad that every time I use the noun project, I tell everyone how much I love it and how good it is and how it's solely worth the money just for me to be literally live and it's not working. Dude, come on. Alright, well, we still should be able to make the game unlock it, even though it doesn't have any symbols, apparently, because apparently they all published when I did that. So, why don't we at least try out testing that? So, we need to enable short key again so that we can get into forcing the game to do our bidding. Because I don't want to play the game forever trying to make it happen. And then we can do, so we force what makes you small, and also let's do a small bullets. And let's hope that's the name of the pickup. And it's not. Yeah. Small bullet. No S. Alright, so let's try this guy out. This should be very fast to test. And I need to turn the, I don't know why I have tutorial on. Alright. Alright, I did not hear any dings. Meaning maybe it didn't go through, or I need to check in the code where it is. Because it definitely should have went off already, I think. Because I don't think it happens at the end of the game. I'm pretty sure it happens in the middle of the game. Yeah, okay. So if the player, no, we don't want that, so we're looking for this one. If player.size is less than this amount and the definition of the ID is equal to small bullet, or we got one makes you small on the player and player that bullet size multiplier is equal to 0.5. Let's put a print statement here just to see if it's working there. Because it might be a logic thing, but it also might just be like I misnamed something in Steam, which has happened more times than I like to admit. All right, we shrunk down. Okay, so doesn't look like it's. Sorry, I just want to make sure that the thing is actually, okay, that it is actually interacting with the size. Yeah, so I didn't see anything pop, so I don't think that's true. So I guess which one of these things might not be true? Why don't we do this? Why don't we, anytime we're in here, do print the definition ID. Nothing? What? Excuse me? Why don't you have an ID? You have a type, but you don't have an ID? Oh. Oh. Yeah, I'm dumb. Never mind. Let's try this again instead of using this, which apparently does nothing. All right, so now that we're no longer accessing something that literally doesn't exist, there we go. Not only did it work, but we got another Steam notification, so that is good to go. Cool. And then the other one we need to try is small bullets with what makes you big. Once we do that, we'll have done all of our achievements from a code perspective. Still have to design the icons really quick. And maybe the NAM project will have been cooperating by then. Oh, I also probably should have checked it in the opposite. Okay, so it did work again with the bobblehead. I probably should have checked to see if it works in the opposite order though, because I went right to left. So let's do this. Let's just put the print I worked in, and then this time when we try, we'll go left to right. And then we'll go back and test it again just to make sure that it works in the opposite direction, like it's not dependent on one or the other. Or rather, it is dependent on one or the other, but it's not dependent on order. Okay, so that one worked. What makes you big? And then we'll change this back to small and then try it again. Left to right, right to left to right, right to left. When you make a game, a lot of times you need to be thorough as possible, or you'll end up in like a weird situation where you have these funky little bugs. So okay, so we know that worked, and then we will. I need to turn off the like acceleration of the game hardness on pressing the short keys, but okay. So then we try it right to left, and it says it worked again. Okay. Okay. So now we can remove both of these, and those achievements are done. Cool. Easy enough. I guess we should now see if the noun project is back. Oh, and actually, another thing you guys can see is now that we have done both, I don't know if you guys remember, in the encounters, we didn't have both one makes you big and one makes you small. But because we've now gotten them, we should be able to see it in the list. And boom, we have one makes you small now. We only have one makes you big. So that's basically how the encounter works. Like anytime you encounter something new, it'll tell you in the encounter, like it'll unlock in the encounters. Like I said, I'm going to have descriptions and, just a little bit of animation, probably just the same bobbing animation as you normally see them in the game, just for you to have some visual interest a bit. But so for this example, I retested it just by because I know they unlock already. Like I know the mechanism for unlocking them in Steam works. I didn't actually have to test to see if it'll unlock in Steam. I just need to test if my logic hits that same place, right? Like for example, it was kind of like, I know that the ball bounces. I needed to know if the ball still bounce if the ground's a little wet. So I didn't really have to test to see if the ball still bounces. I just needed to test if the ground was a little wet. That's an awful analogy. That doesn't make any sense. Basically, I will literally just pull up the code and show you what I mean. Let me get rid of this. So I know that this code works, like this line. What I was checking to see if that condition is true or that condition is true, if it leads to this, just this place in the code. Like I know it, I know that this line works. I just need to see if it leads to this place in the code. So I wasn't actually testing to see if it unlocks in Steam again. I was testing to see if it would even hit this block of code. Now, if I literally did want to see it unlock in Steam again, there's actually a way for me to, using code, reset my own Steam achievements. I just didn't want to. It's kind of a hassle for what it is. And, depending on the game, it might be worth it as far as like having a master switch so that I can do it in like a debug mode. But just me knowing it, like for this game in particular, it actually wasn't that important for me to physically unlock it in Steam anymore. As long as I unlocked it once and I know that my logic is good, that was kind of enough for me. But that kind of comes with experience, I think. I forgot that I don't actually have the chat up, so you can't really see that. But we're still figuring out this setup here. We got, I guess theoretically, I could have just done something like how I have my webcam in the right corner. Well, maybe we'll do chat in the left corner on the next stream. Yeah, that was a very confusing roundabout way of saying what I was doing, but you know, streaming, talking, coding, and explaining all at once. It's kind of hard sometimes. All right, let's check and see if the noun project doesn't hate me anymore. Oh no, they're like just having a. Oh wait, no, we're back. We're so back. Oh heck yeah, we got a whole petri dish. Okay, so the petri dishes, do they have microscopes? I think I kind of like the petri dish a little bit more. If only because I think I'm more likely to use a microscope in not that I have one in a power up ready to go, but I feel like I'm more likely to use that one in a power up than a petri dish. So petri dish might be cool for a achievement icon. All right, which one do we want to go with? The game is fairly simplistic, so I try not to overdo it as far as icons go. Like, you want your stuff to look fairly consistent. Just trying to figure out which one of these guys. Kind of like this. But is it too much sauce? I do think I was doing like a very specific size with the icons at some point, but I think I kind of forgot. Yeah, 394. Last two I just guesstimated. I think 394 by 394, and then we'll just center this guy. We'll group them together. Like microscopic Okay, that one's done too. And I can export that later. Not big of a deal. Then for our next one, let's go red. Yeah, let's go red. I guess bobblehead. Bobblehead might be one that we have to kind of put together. I'm thinking maybe, because I already looked up bobblehead. So I'm thinking maybe I could do like a statue. I just put a big old face on it. Or like a... maybe like, I don't know, action figure. Nah, that was the move. Maybe like a trophy? Maybe if I take this and I take off that piece, I can put a big old head on it. Nah, I feel like that doesn't translate well. Well, I got like a soccer trophy. I do not know why I assumed a soccer trophy would have a person on it before just a soccer ball. Normally this is a little easier. Let's go back to statue. Okay, I saw some platforms. Maybe something like that. And then we'll just slap a big old head on it. This is we're getting close with some of these for sure. Or maybe something like this. Maybe I'll take, yeah. I'm seeing the vision now. Or maybe something like that, and then we just give her a big old head. There are way too many heads on this website. Like, do I just want to... make one at this point. Just take a circle and elongate it. That's like proportional though. Now we gotta if we group that. Almost feels like it needs a face. These are freaky looking. Don't like those. This is so freaky looking. I'm not liking how this is turning out. Well, first let's just center this guy. All right, let's bring back the freaky looking face. I'm not liking this. I feel like the simplistic style doesn't really do justice to the idea of a bubble head. Is the problem here. And the face just looks freaky. It's like some weird egg thing. Yeah, I don't know where to go from here. Do you think it looks less freaky without the face? Maybe that's all. Maybe that's all it needs to be. Maybe some motion lines or something. Like maybe indicate some motion. I'm not mad at what's happening here. Just gotta figure out how to get them into the right spot. Got these guys on the same height. One's 90, one's 93. Let's put them both at 90. Yeah, okay. I'll accept that. Whether or not people understand it. I feel like we're bobbling the head. And then, yeah, but, oop. No, that was right. Okay. And then, yeah, like I said, when I do these to do a lock, I just kind of draw the lock directly over it. Kind of makes it easy. But, yeah. That's enough of that. And we made all 3 of our achievements. Cool. Let's cross that off the list. And then I think we're going to mess with beginner mode again. Like I said, maybe try to make it a little bit more visually interesting. I think that might be if we go to... Sorry, I'm trying to remember what my effects... I've had so many at this point, not the planet. No, it's my animation scripts. Is it alt stars? Yeah, it is. Okay, so then what we need to do here basically is if game is equal to equal. Oh wait, no. Jeez, game underscore difficulty. If global varsity game difficulty is equal to beginner. My autocorrect, or rather my autocomplete sometimes just turns off and it's such a pain. But if it is equal to beginner, then we're gonna add a nebula color. Nebula color, well, I guess it's more like table.insert. And then one of these is nebula. And one of these would be so this is just RGB and alpha. So let's say 0 for R, 1 for G, 0 for B, and then let's do it at 0.5 just so we know for sure it's working. I need to make sure that I use table.insert correctly because I always mix up which one is the table and which one, yeah. Okay, so yeah, so that should theoretically work. Let's try it. Let's see if we get any greens, which I guess there's theoretically a random chance we get no greens, but we'll just have to let chance decide that for us. Oh no, we got some greens. We got some greens. Too intense, but it is visually different. It is in fact visually different. So let's see. We do 8% for most of these. Let's do 0.1. Let's try that again. I'm trying to decide if I think that's too much. Like, does anyone actually know what's happening with this? Oh, what's up, Gage? Oh, I was making a little, I was making some achievements, like some achievement icons. And I was trying to do like a little bobblehead action. But I didn't, I don't know, I just wasn't getting it correctly at first. So then I added some like motion wave type of thing. Well, it's not terribly important, so when to happen. And now what I'm working on is I'm attempting to make beginner mode a little visually more interesting. It's way easier, but like I feel like because the planet is in the same place, it wasn't enough. So I was thinking about adding this green in the background, but I don't know. It's so distracting, I feel like. It's a little too much sauce, low-key. Might have to turn down those colors. It's not the speed I was worrying about as much as like just like how bright it is. So like, most of them kind of like even the reds kind of like fade into the background like this. Um, I feel like now I'm not getting any green, but that just might be the RNG. Or I dropped it too low. No, we can still get some greens here. Oof. Clicked out of the game. Yeah, I'm just a little worried about it not being as visually different as the other game modes, just because it looks pretty much exactly the same as casual mode does, which that was totally fine. When we went from casual mode to nightmare, because at least in nightmare mode the planet's in a completely different placement. But I think that sometimes with that, it's I don't know. I guess I'm just a little worried that it's not enough. Because like nightmare mode does look way more visually interesting to me because it's in the middle of the planet now. Whereas like, I guess I'm trying to differentiate casual and beginner just a little bit more. Maybe I could change the moon or something as well. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe even some yellows. I gotta stop doing that. Well, yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out of like what I can change here to make it more visually interesting. The only other thing I could think of is I theoretically could make the planet drop from the top instead of the bottom, but I don't know. It feels a little funky to me. And then I think I'd have to change some logic on how certain. I'd at least have to change the logic on how where the meteors like spawn from, I guess. I did think about just putting the planet in the middle in the same way, but I think that's still part of that difficulty curve that people have trouble with. I also might just be overthinking it. I don't know if anyone actually really cares how visually different it is as much as like the game plays. It's drastically easier than, the complaint wasn't so much that it's not visually different enough, it was that the game's a little hard. And this is way easier, even just by like, leaderboard's sake. Because, we take a look at the leaderboards, right? Casual, beginner. So we can see Corinne McCobb score of 25,000 here. Scores only 2,400 on Nightmare and only 11,000 on Casual. So, like, that's at least double the score, basically, of Casual mode. So, like, beginner's obviously way easier. I just feel like from Casual to Nightmare, it's like, whoa. But from beginner to Casual, it's kind of like, eh. But it's like, I don't know. So we added that one. We added green, right? Like that's a green. Well, actually added a letter for some reason. I don't even know what that does to the code. Let's do it again. But let's instead do yellow. So if I'm not mistaken, R and G together makes yellow. That's all right. Beginner mode will, it'll probably drop on Friday. Take a look at this little encounters page I'm working on. It's ugly as hell right now as I work on it, but basically what I'll do is, as you can see here with the oops all bombs, turns all your meteors into exploders. It'll have little descriptions, and it'll tell you what it's called. You'll have the icons as you encounter them. So basically the reason that a bunch of these are locked is because I haven't picked them up yet, like since I implemented this. And then the meteor page will actually do the same and have the visuals of the meteor on top of it. And it'll tell you what game mode it is in. But this is just a little mock-up. It's way too ugly to release like this, so I still have a lot of work to do on that page. Like, I liked what I ended up doing as far as the animations between these. Like, I think that's cool enough. But, like, I don't know. There's just something about when I go to this page. It's like, I feel like it's... Ooh, I like the yellow novas, at least. Or the yellow nebulas. Sorry. All the space terms get to me eventually. I do think I might end up messing around with the moon too. Like maybe we can do it, a few things to it, make the moon look a little different as well. Maybe between all three modes. Or like develop craters. I don't know. Something to show that it's different. Oh my goodness. I gotta stop plugging out. But yeah, beginner mode doesn't have nearly as many meteors and stuff like that. I tried to take out all the stuff that I think is going to be too intense for folks. So no drills, no clouds, no chaos meteors, which are the ones that constantly change color. You do still get change links. Yeah, yeah, I've definitely tried to stylize as much as I can. Unfortunately, I'm not much of an artist, so we got lots of assets. Oh, I don't know. I did something. I might have got reverse controls or something. Yeah, for my next game, which I think, I'll end up announcing by like next month. Yeah, by like May. I'm definitely going to try to partner up with like a real artist. Unfortunately, I just don't have that kind of time to be the one man dev team doing literally everything, you know. At least not if I want to release games on a somewhat frequent schedule. So, if anyone knows any artists that legitimately want to work with me, let me know. You'd be very surprised how many people are like, I want to make music. I want to blah blah blah. I want to make the thing, and then when you end up talking to them, they don't really, and that's okay. I just mean like I made a promise to myself to never announce a game I was never gonna finish. So I need to make sure I work with people that are serious. As you can see for Nightmare Mode, the spawn rate's insanely faster. Another thing with the beginner mode changes is that you can unlock all the ships now with beginner mode, which before you could not. Um, and I added some changes to show how many more times you got to use stuff. This is more or less a new save file, so a bunch of this stuff is still locked. It's super hard to work with people that are as passionate about your projects as you are, if that makes sense. It's very rarely that I actually end up having someone who like is serious and wants to like work on stuff with me. There's definitely some folks where it's well, at least not in like a game making sort of view. If I need to commission like a song or like a capsule or something like that, that's simple enough. Like I definitely have people I find consistent enough for that. Just like it's kind of hard to find someone that's like, hey, you want to work on this thing for 3 to 9 months and potentially have no real payoff. But yeah, I do think I like the yellow and I think I kind of like the yellow and green Novas a little bit. I might mess around with what colors they actually end up being, but my goodness. Sometimes I wonder beginning mode is a little too easy, but at the same time, I thought casual mode was easy, so what do I know? But everything else about a beginner mode is the same. You get the same power up spawn rates, same power up spawn rates, same power downs and whatnot. Like I figured it didn't really make sense to remove anything else other than meteors and wow, other than meteors and obviously with Nightmare you get penalized for hitting your planet, but that wasn't in casual mode anyways. So it's just spawn rates and the meteors you get. And I think that should be enough to push down the difficulty level so that people can actually learn. Because the issue really isn't that I think casual mode is too hard. I think it just has a steep learning curve. I think once you figure it out, you figure it out. What are you trying to send a link to? I mean, I also don't know if the YouTube chat was literally just gonna stop you from doing it. I'm just curious. What are you trying to send the link to? I'm also maybe considering swapping out parasites for like fireys, but like I don't know. Fireys are pretty difficult. They actually might be one of the most difficult ones to come back because they're so fast. But I just think they're visually look cool. Like to me, beginner mode is so slow. I'm like, doesn't even matter what your Nova is. Oh, I have nothing that qualifies for this. COLORNOVA's already out. COLORNOVA released a week and a half ago. So really, that'd only be cool for like my next game, which the problem with my next game is that I'm changing engines. So I don't even know what the hell a prototype would really look like. Well, you could definitely send the link still. I'll definitely check it out. I just mean like I don't know if I I don't know if I have anything that's gonna qualify anytime soon. There's also a thing of I don't know. To me, beginner mode moves too slow. But like I said, I think I'm obviously not a good indicator of if my games are too hard. I actually had a buddy hit me up that has some QA testing experience, and he was like, like next time you like release something, let me know, and I can try to get in there. And I'm like, yeah, probably could have used some more beta testers actually checking stuff out. Like I thought releasing a demo would have been enough, but maybe my demo just wasn't popular enough to really make that judgment call on if something was too hard. My next game will also be slower paced. just like in general, not even like, oh, there's different like, no, like it's gonna be drastically different. I don't really make games that fit the same general genres, I guess. I'm kind of all over the board with it. I have a Discord, which you should definitely join. You have some discussion with us, and there's actually a few other devs in there, and we kind of yap together, but I share my secrets. And sometimes I preview stuff that I'm working on. And there's some few folks in there. I'm hoping to try to. I'm basically trying to get together to a point where it's like, there's a bunch of game devs in there and artists and people that like, voice actors, and we could wishlist each other's stuff and kind of support each other, that kind of thing. Just tell everybody, like what you're working on and what we're doing here. Yeah, like look, to me beginner mode is so easy that's like you can literally actively play that with one hand. By the way, folks, think I'm gonna hop off in the next like 5 minutes. I just wanted to show off a little bit of beginner mode, some of the stuff that I'm working on. Like I said, I'm probably gonna power through and release this update by the end of the week. So yeah, that was like an 8-minute game, and it's only 14,000. But yeah, next time you guys see the game, beginner mode will be live for everyone and not just in the beta branch. And this encounters page will hopefully look a lot cooler. I'm still mucking about with the design and stuff, but like think living Pokédex. That's what we're going for. As you progress more in the game, as you unlock more stuff. Like I just wanted to be able to give stats. I wanted to be able to show you the animations that happen and what to expect as you encounter things. I'm trying to decide if I want to do it like a real Pokédex and like kind of. So like I don't know how much you guys have played main series Pokemon, but it's the kind of thing where it's like. Yeah, thanks for stopping in. But yeah, it's the kind of thing where it's like when you see them, you get a little bit of information, and then once you like capture them, and I guess in this case it'd be like once you destroy them, it would give you more stuff. So like I don't know if it's like, oh, you saw it, that's one thing, and then maybe maybe it'll show up like fully locked. Maybe not even show a name, just fully locked. And then once you see it, it'll be like, oh, it has the name and maybe the icon. And then maybe once you pick it up, it'll have, or maybe not even icon. I don't know. I'm still working on it. I'm still working on the thoughts. I just mean like I really do want it to be like you're discovering new stuff in the game. We'll see. Because like I said, I want to have this update out on Friday. And hopefully a devlog too, meaning that I really have to lock down and kind of finish out some of this stuff. And I know doing the meteor animation stuff is going to be a complete pain. I did not write that code in a way that translates well to other pages. But yeah, definitely gonna get that going because people have been asking for stuff. Anyways, like I said, I think I'm gonna head out, folks. So, one, if you haven't already, go buy Color Nova on Steam. Links are in the description. If there are any questions that you had, or you just want to come chat, like come join our Discord channel. Lots of yapping to be done in there, and I'm pretty much always awake, so it's a great way to holla at me about any questions or concerns, or even if you want to talk about your own stuff. We have channels for that, and what my experiences are and whatnot. But yeah, other than that, look out on Friday for hopefully a new devlog, and hopefully also beginner mode and encounters, and the new power-ups, of course, and achievements. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, because I'll be doing this every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Yeah,